The siren screamed through the dusk as I stood barefoot in my driveway, clutching a half-charred grilled cheese sandwich, watching Linda holler in her phone, swearing to 911 that I'd swiped her pickup truck. My truck, a weathered red Ford F-250, handed down from my dad, with my initials carved into the steering wheel and a chipped mug in the cup holder that Red saw world's okayest driver saw. Linda pointed at me like I was some shady carjacker, demanding the cops haul me off. The neighbors had turned it into a block party, some dragged-out lawn chairs. Others leaned on mailboxes, whispering. It was absurd, almost funny, but the surreal weight of it kept me from laughing. I didn't run or argue. I just turned, walked inside, and grabbed something that had turned her whole charade upside down. Let me back up. A couple of weeks earlier, I'd moved into my late father's ranch-style house on the edge of a suburban sprawl. The place used to be a quiet stretch of dirt and dreams to horses, a garden shed, open sky. Now it was swallowed by cookie-cutter houses, pastel siding, and HOA flags flapping like battle standards. I wasn't part of their precious homeowners association, but that didn't stop Linda, the HOA's self-crowned dictator. She strutted around in floral blazers like they were bulletproof, wielding her clipboard like a guillotine. She'd already slapped me with 3 fines for lawn violations, whatever that meant, and once claimed my porch wind chimes were a crime against community serenity. But this, calling the cops, accusing me of stealing my own truck, that was next level. She stood by my mailbox, fake sobbing to the dispatcher, spinning a tale about me hot wiring her rig in the dead of night. I wasn't mad, he was almost impressed. The audacity, the imagination, the sheer stupidity of it all. When the police rolled up 12 squad cars and a cruiser, ready for a standoff, Officer Harper stepped out, his face twitching with amusement. He knew me from a security seminar I'd run years back when I consulted for a private firm. He glanced at the truck, then at me, then at Linda, and said, cool as ice, "Anyone got proof of ownership?" Linda was ready, whipping out a manila folder like she'd prepped for a courtroom drama. She flashed Craigslist ads and blurry photos of a similar truck, but none showed a license plate. Her EVY Denke was a 5-year-old listing for an F-250 she'd never bought. I strolled to my porch, reached into a drawer, and pulled out the truck's title, registration, and a faded envelope from my dad labeled SAW for when the truck causes trouble SAW. Inside was a Polaroid of him grinning beside the truck, flipping the bird, with a sticky note. SAW, don't let anyone take this beast. So I laid it all out for Harper, like a poker player showing a royal flush. Linda's face twitched like she'd sniffed sour milk. Then I played my ace. I pulled up my phone and opened my security cam feed. There, at 2:43 a.m., was Linda, flashlight in hand, prowling around my truck like a hyena. She even yanked out bolt cutters, trying to snap the chain on my hitch, before scribbling on her clipboard and muttering to herself. The footage was crystal clear. Harper asked if I'd email it to the station. I sent it right there. Linda went quiet, arms crossed, staring at the truck's tires like they'd stabbed her in the back. After 30 minutes of awkward silence, Harper told me they'd document everything and to keep the footage safe. I asked if she'd face charges for a false report. He shrugged, muttering about needing a pattern of BHA VY, or... That's when it hit Melinda wasn't just a one-off nutcase. Neighbors had whispered about her reign of terror. Petty fines, threats, even a bizarre story about a stolen welcome mat and a goat. As the cops left, Linda stood in the street, lips so tight they vanished. I waved from my porch. She didn't wave back. The crowd dispersed, some neighbors clapping, others nodding with pity. But I knew this wasn't over. Linda didn't lose quietly. She slunk off like a snake, plotting her next strike. That night, I replayed the footage and caught something chilling. Right before the camera cut, Linda smirked at the lens and whispered, "Say goodbye to your driveway, hotshot." This wasn't just about the truck. It was personal. Sleep didn't come easy. I kept the lights on, phone close, and by morning, a typed HOA notice was in my mailbox, claiming utility vehicles couldn't sit in VY Cybele driveways. It cited a rule that didn't apply to May wasn't in their jurisdiction. But Linda didn't care about rules. She craved control. That truck wasn't just a vehicle. It was my dad's legacy road trips, hauling fence posts, The dent from when he swore a turkey hit the fender. It was a mailbox. Linda wanted it gone because it was mine, so I doubled down. I added more cameras, motion alerts, and backed up every clip to a cloud folder I called Saw Linda's Folly Saw. If she wanted war, I'd fight with facts and footage. No more grilled cheese standoffs. The calm that followed felt like the hush before a storm. My truck wasn't just an old pickup, it was a fortress. I'd rigged it with motion cameras, a hidden GPS, and sensors synced to my home system during my security days. Linda's obsession with it started a week before her 911 stunt, when I crashed an HOA meeting at a neighbor's in VYT. They were fed up with her fines, and I'd shared tips on documenting HOA overreach. I didn't know then that Linda was skimming landscaping funds. When I mentioned dodgy invoices I'd spotted, her face went ghost white. That's when the fuse lit. One morning, I caught a sugary whiff near the truck's fuel cap. My Gott Dank. A test strip confirmed its cigar in the tank, enough to gum up the engine if I'd driven it. Footage from the truck's rear camera showed Linda at 1:57 a.m. in a bathrobe, no gloves, no mask, pouring it like she was watering plants. I sent it to Harper. He called, voice tight, saying they'd been collecting complaints about her for months, trespassing, fraud, harassment, but no one stuck it out. Now they had me. He told me to keep baiting her, keep recording, and stay quiet. They suspected she was into deeper dirt than HOA scams. I set a trap, a decoy camera in plain sight, real sensors hidden, and a bait to VYC under the bumper to catch her moves. The next day, another fake HOA notice arrived, calling my truck an eyesore. I VY-cited Mrs. Carter, an elderly neighbor, who showed me a stack of similar letters fines for her bird bath, her gnome, her porch light. She'd never fought back, too tired for the stress. That was Linda's game, banking on silence. I scanned every notice I'd gotten. The fonts, margins, layouts all different, not from the official HOA. Linda was forging them on her home printer. At the next HOA meeting, the room buzzed with tension. Linda strutted in, clipboard gleaming, lavender blouse ironed to death. Word of her driveway meltdown had spread, and people were done with her reign. She droned through flowerbed rules, then dropped a bombshell. A proposal to ban pickup trucks from driveways for community image. It was aimed at me. I stood, holding up a timeline of her fake notices and snapshots of her trespassing. I didn't yell, just laid out the facts, cold and sharp. Linda sputtered, claiming I'd faked the VY Deos, but I offered unedited footage with metadata. Mrs. Carter stood next, cane shaking, and called out Linda's forged fines. Others joined a birdbath fine, a shed threat. Linda shrank, her clipboard a flimsy shield. Then she pulled a wild card, accusing me of hacking her to VYCES and spying on neighbors. Pure theater, tears and all, but no proof. I showed one last clip. Linda slipping a fake notice into my mailbox, her handwriting matching her clipboard. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, the door slamming like a gunshot. Neighbors thanked me, some offering to gather more dirt. But the next morning, my truck's tires were slashed clean, professional cuts. The hidden camera caught Linda, scarf half hiding her face, but her cracked bluestone ring gave her away. I sent it to Harper. Then came the restraining order. Linda claimed I'd threatened her with a wrench at 6:30 p.m. 2 days prior. Problem was, I was at a hardware store then, with receipts and footage to prove it. In court, her trembling monologue painted me as a stalker. I showed the judge my alibi and a clip of Linda strolling past my house, unharmed. The order was denied. She got a warning. That night, a dead rat appeared on my porch, stuffed in an HOA newsletter. Cameras caught Linda dropping it at 5:30 a.m. Harper, now deadly serious, said they were building a criminal case. My footage was key. The game changer came when Linda's husband, looking like a man broken, handed me a flash drive. It held audio of Linda ranting about neighbors, plotting against me, and strong-arming HOA votes. One clip had her instructing a landscaper to inflate invoices and split the cash. Fraud, blackmail, harassment, all labeled Saw personal Saw. I sent it to Harper. He said it was enough for the DA to move. Days later, an emergency HOA meeting Linda tried a desperate amnesty vote to erase all fines, buying loyalty. I asked if it covered her forgeries. As she laughed it off, Harper walked in with detectives, reading her warrant: fraud, harassment, tampering, forgery. Her clipboard hit the floor. She was let out, silent, betrayed by her own lies. The aftermath was like a neighborhood waking up. The HOA apologized, audited Dulot $20,000 in missing funds, and asked me to consult on reforms. I helped set up transparent systems, limiting enforcement to elected members. Neighbors rebuilt sunflower gardens, backyard barbecues, porch lights glowing. Linda posted bail but was banned from the area, her case stacked with EVY Denke. One morning, I washed the truck, its red paint gleaming. A new couple stopped by, thanking me for standing up. I drove to my dad's old fishing spot, windows down, radio loud, the truck carrying me through country roads like it was born for it. At a gas station, an attendant admired its grit. I smiled. It had been through hell and back. The truck sat proud in my driveway. No more fake notices, no clipboard tyrants. The Saw Linda's Folly Saw folder rested in a drawer, a testament to what happens when you push too far. It wasn't just about a truck, it was about fighting fear with truth, about not letting lies steal what's yours. Every time I turn the key, that engine doesn't just start. It roars VY Tory, freedom, and the sound of neighborhood that learns silence isn't safety. So what do you think? Was I too ruthless, baiting Linda with cameras? Or was it the only way to stop her? Should the neighbors have spoken up sooner? Or was their fear justified? Could Linda have been a VY Tim of her own desperation? Or was she just a power-hungry bully? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you felt the heat of this fight, and subscribe for more stories where truth takes down the loudest lies. Let's hear your take.